Space Engineers, we're on Xbox Series X. The game is now optimized and running better than it ever did before. So if you're not familiar with the game, it is an exciting game of space exploration and discovery, creation, survival, crafting, creative, and playing with others too. So we're going to be going over kind of what's new, and we're starting that by kind of discussing just in general what some of the new features are available as part of the Wasteland update that came to the game. So in general, this is something that benefits all of the Xbox platforms. We now have dedicated servers. They're enabling scripts for dedicated servers. There's improvements to the Gamepad controls, performance improvements, the possibility to change the size of the GUI, which is the GUI, improved block grouping, and they added Empty World Custom Game to Xbox Experimental Mode. So that's kind of exciting. We actually flew out a little bit further than I thought we would, out here on the moon. Anyways, specifically with the Xbox Series X optimization and Series S as well, they obviously added support for Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. That's the first note. They've increased the lobby sizes for the players on the two consoles to 8 players, so you now have 8 people in a lobby. They have the high graphics settings on, and there is now 500,000 PCU in experimental, up from 200,000 for other consoles. So that's quite a bit of a boost, because I know a lot of people are always complaining about, you know, building and what you can do building wise, and yeah, that should maybe help remedy some of the situation around that. So it's also got better simulation quality in scenarios and blazing fast loading times. Yeah, it's a little bit quicker, that's for sure. And we've also got much better performance overall. So that's the gist of the Xbox specific updates. Again, initially going over what all the Xbox platforms got, and then specifically what this optimization brings. So as you could tell, I mean, it's still got some little performance hiccups here or there, but it definitely does seem to be running and performing a lot better than it had in the past, which is kind of cool. So we're obviously on the moon here, which is so exciting, and we're just in like a fighter thingy. We can actually turn on the shots. Can we turn it off? So yeah, you can actually battle. But I think with that, we're actually going to showcase another planet so you can see that in action, because the moon is just one part of the overall experience that's present here. Woo! We're loading into an Earth-like planet so that you can see what that's like in action. Again, not Earth, but an Earth-like planet, which is super exciting. But the gist of it is just to kind of give you an idea of, you know, how it's running, how it's looking, and everything like that. Because I know people that enjoyed Space Engineers kind of want to see what their game is running like with the extra little boost options and everything like that. So as I mentioned, you know, you can do this in a survival mode, you could do it in creative. There are like light objectives. That good bot never disappears. Can somebody please tell me how to make it disappear for good? That would be helpful. But yeah, we get this like kind of expansive world, and there's all these different levels. There's like actually kind of, I guess you could say, campaign-esque type levels that you can go through. There's just different missions, different setups. You know, there's actually kind of a wealth of content, I guess you could say, in regards to what this does provide. And you get different tools as well, and you can actually just like straight up break the environment, which is kind of neat. Like, you just like mine into stuff. That's sort of cool. You know, like the welder and the rifle if you want to shoot things, and then you get the grinder if you want to grind things. Anyways, yeah, it's just kind of neat to see that this is something that is getting, you know, supported and updated, and they keep adding like new DLC packs and everything to the game to kind of expand what it has to offer. So I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, there's just a lot you can actually do in this one, surprisingly. It's a fairly complex game, and I think it's neat that they did actually, you know, sort of bring this over as making it something that's available on the consoles, because it was supposed to be here a long time ago, and then eventually it did actually come, and it was just kind of surprising, and it did quite well for me. I mean, I do have a video up if you want like a guide on, you know, kind of the controls and, you know, building and everything like that, basic building, getting started. I think that was pretty helpful, and the review I did fairly well too. It was like a big survival sort of burst at that time for me in that content, which was kind of exciting. But yeah, you could do fighter type things. There's like AI stuff. You can go battle. You can play around with your friends. It does actually have a lot going on within it. And then with it being creative mode, we can kind of show like you can just straight up like, you know, build stuff and everything, which is kind of exciting. And you can like color stuff and, you know, you just create things. But you got to remember there's a certain level of actually having to like build stuff that actually kind of makes sense. And I say that in the sense that if you want to build something like, you know, like your own plane or, well, I don't know, they're not plane, but spaceship or, you know, ship or whatever you want, or vehicle, you know, you actually have to have certain things. You gotta have like engine stuff, and, you know, you actually kind of have to follow some laws of physics, I suppose, and realism in that regard. And it's just kind of a fun little thing that keeps it a little bit more grounded, I guess you could say, which is sort of fun. And again, like shooting stuff down, and you can see like a bit of a damage in the environment we can do, and, you know, just like smash things up, which is kind of fun. Yeah, it's just kind of like a neatly complex sort of game, and obviously it's running a lot better than it was, which is kind of, I don't know, sort of exciting for those that like this sort of experience. To have it just a little bit more fine-tuned is obviously a nice feature for sure. I'm gonna let our guy go there. And keeping in mind, doing that in like regular gameplay would probably kill you. Well, it would definitely kill you, or severely injure you, because you gotta like watch and monitor things if you're doing more, you know, intense kind of gameplay. But there's lots of different things you could do. You could like do like chat things, and I think I'm trying to think where that is. There's like an expression wheel. There's the tool config, and there's different like faction things you could do, and contracts, and turning off the HUD, which is actually like quite cinematic. It's sort of lovely to look at it that way. But there's just many different options. You do like the coloring type thing if you want to do that, and there's different, like, I guess you could say, textures and stuff as well that you can do, which is kind of neat. It just offers a lot of, you know, freedom in regards to creativity and building. It's sort of, I wouldn't say it's like Minecraft, but it's got like different building things you can do, and I think that's worth noting in regards to, yeah, that kind of stuff. And you go in here and you can open up like an inventory. You can see like the terminal with all the different stuff. So if you build things, you do have to connect things together. I think that's kind of fun. And you get all these different like types of buildings, like armor, obviously, for like your ship and stuff, and, you know, production things. You do like a cryo sleep or something like that. I don't know. You can put that down there, but you can see like all these different options that are present for building. There's a lot of like content to it. And they seem to support things fairly well, and you can do like different sizing of stuff. Like I think this is like a big one, and like rotate it and everything. Just kind of nuts, and bigger or smaller sizes of everything depending on what you need to attach it to, which is kind of funny. It's just neat that the stuff you can do with it. Although I think rotation wise we've kind of, yeah, okay, we gotta, there we go, and it should kind of shrink. There's also like buttons you can do if you want to shrink things down, like more exact. I'm just trying to give you like an idea of kind of building stuff. There we go, we put down the overly large wheel, but you can build some like really big ships and driving things, and yeah, you just got to follow certain basic creation rules, which is kind of fun. It just offers a lot of content, I guess you could say, a surprisingly amount, or a good amount of content, which is kind of nice. I mean, I've had fun with it. I played it back on, I guess you could say, PC back in the day as well. I kind of want to blow these up, and that's the first thing anybody thinks of, is like destruction. But also, I want to say, like, it's neat that we have this available. It'd be really cool if we also got, I think they have another game. I don't know if that's still something they're working on, but there was like a medieval type one they were doing, which was kind of neat. I don't even know if they still develop it at all. It'd be cool to see that one from the consoles too, because this one, you know, it's kind of fun, right? Like it's got its moments, it's got its cool little quirks and stuff, and it's definitely like a creative sort of game in terms of what you're, you know, doing within it and what you can do. I don't know, I just kind of find it kind of like sort of fascinating, and I'm mostly trying to give you an idea of like performance and how it's loading and the visuals and everything like that, because I've gone over the details on it, and it's really like, I guess, your personal experience. I don't think it's hugely different from you know, the previous version of it, but it's definitely cleaned up quite a bit. It does still have like occasional hiccups here or there when it comes to like performance and stuff, but I think for the most part they did a pretty good job of just smoothing it out a little bit more and cleaning things up, making it nicer on the platform, which is great for those that are fans of it, and hopefully they continue to support it and maybe also like port it other places too, I guess, because I think this one still is kind of locked here console-wise, and I think it could do well on other platforms. At least I believe so, because it does definitely have some cool content to it. But anyways, yeah, that's basically why do you come back, introduction bot? Leave me alone! Leave me alone! But yeah, that's Space Engineers on Xbox Series X. It's cool.